Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another scene for the living world of darkness, Changeling, the dreaming C20 venue. This scene is a chrysalis scene for our dear, who is going to be discovering the truth about her heritage. It starts off on a lovely late spring, early summer day, and we are in Brooke's home, doing homely things. Cooking, cleaning, moving some furniture.
God damn it, Marina, put the fucking cat down.
Marina just shakes her head. Anyways, so kind of spring cleaning, you're tossing out some old things that you haven't needed. The dad has started to go through the KonMari method of cleaning things out you no longer need or want, getting rid of all that excess clutter. He tells you to go start looking in the attic. Start bringing things down that, old childhood toys that we can give to, various charities.
She'll probably start on like one end of the attic and then move towards the other end.
Yeah. It is. You start on, kind of in the back, and you really forgot how dark and creepy attics can be, and how scary it is, and how cramped. It's dark. The ceiling is low. The boxes are packed in tight, and it's hard to navigate.
She might grumble a bit. Just little complaints under her breath, like, God fucking damn it. Fucking cobwebs.
Yeah, cobwebs and spiders. Bump your head on a rafter or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's, if the spiders are on the wall, she's probably gonna like take her shoe off, be like, die, bitch.
A couple of daddy long legs and house spiders. Things not too dangerous, but you walk through a web and it sticks all over you.
Yeah, she probably. The daddy long legs are safe. Spiders are not.
And you get there and you're going through old toy sets and boxes of dolls, and you're carrying things down, putting them in the donation pile. And then you go back up and starting to go through stuff, and you pick up the occasional doll and reminisce, and there's some good memories, and you've moved through 2 or 3 boxes at this point, and you see this old wooden trunk. It is an old steamer trunk, much like what you would expect to see on, come across on like the Titanic or one of those old luxury liners. It's gigantic leather handles. It looks to be in pretty good condition. You have never seen this before. You start to fiddle with it and look at it, and the lock pops open.
Well, we're gonna have to get that fixed.
Yeah, take a look, and there's some really nice old clothing in there. And it's all in pretty decent shape. There's a dress, It's like an old suit, and down at the bottom you find yourself reaching and kind of going through it. Something's calling for you. You can almost hear it, the sound of the waves, and out in the distance, like the horn of an ocean liner. As your mind is wandering as you're looking at these old garments and exploring this old trunk. You hear the sound of seabirds cawing in the distance, the smell of the ocean, waves crashing upon rocks. Just all of this floods your mind, and it's vivid, it's real, and you're lost in it. And you look down, and you try on a suit coat and start to take on the role of somebody ordering a fancy dinner on a cruise liner. You find an old antique pipe. Kind of stick it in your mouth. Ugh, tastes like dust. Should have probably cleaned that first.
Mm-hmm. And how old does it look?
Probably. I mean, the trunk looks like it's 100 years old. The clothing is from there's some antique clothing, and then there's some from more recent, 60s and 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And down at the bottom, something kind of catches your eye, and you move the rest of the clothing, and you see this old leather bomber jacket that is I mean, it looks to be in pristine condition, like you would like it would just come out of the store.
Hmm.
And there's just something about it. Your eyes are drawn to it.
Should probably take the fancy jacket off and go dive to the bottom of the trunk and get that one out.
As you reach for it and start paying more attention to it, the sounds of seabirds, and it's louder in your mind.
Is it just in my mind? Like it's distinctly in my mind?
It's hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tell. It's one of those vivid imagination scenarios where it's almost lifelike. A vivid dream manifesting around you.
Yeah, she'll probably look around, see if there are any windows open, because they do live right on the water, basically.
There aren't any windows open.
Mm-hmm.
But you smell that sea breeze. Maybe Dad's got a window down upstairs, and it's just coming up into the attic.
Mm-hmm.
And you get drawn towards the jacket, and you put your hand on the jacket, and for a moment the attic gets infinitely darker and smaller than it was. It is now cramped and foreign and scary, kind of like all things attic in a horror movie. There's a squeaking of a rocking chair. The skittering of spiders is now loud and audible.
Good thing we already got the dolls put away.
you take your hand back and it fades. It's one of those, you kind of take a minute to compose yourself, breathe in, breathe out, look around, and you find yourself wondering, did that just happen?
She's gonna look at the bomber jacket suspiciously.
It is a lovely bomber jacket. It is in magnificent condition. It is pristine, but it, now that you've touched it, it almost looks wet.
She'll look up at the ceiling to see if there's like a leak or something.
You look around, there's no leak. There's no water. The air's, pretty dry in here.
She's gonna poke the bomber jacket just real quickly.
You touch the jacket, and again, it gets dark, and but now, while your hand is on there, it feels like you have been dropped into a tank of water out in the middle of nowhere, and that dark, crushing depths around you isn't the infinitely small attic of a horror film, but it is the darkness of the deep ocean. You can hear the waves crashing above you.
She squints her eyes at it, really confused because this ain't normal. But she's also kind of curious why it's doing these things. Like half of her mind is like, hey, yo, try it on. And the other half is like, no, go downstairs and ask Dad what the fuck this is.
There's just something about it. It calls to you. There is a bond being formed here, and it is hard to escape its pull.
Hmm.
And you know somewhere deep in the back of your mind that this is your jacket.
She's gonna just kind of hold it in front of her, like appraising it almost, seeing if there's anything like weird about it other than being wet and giving her all these weird feelings.
As you pick it up, it is cool, it's slick, there's a little bit of fur to it. There is. You find yourself running your fingers over the seams, and it looks like the most comfortable thing you will ever wear. Is it changing its shape? Is it? You swear that the jacket just changed size.
What the huh? Is it now like my size?
It looks like it is tailored just to you.
Just gonna slowly put it on to see if it actually is. Because, I mean, she's not really trusting her eyes right now because it is dark. But
You take the jacket and you whip it around you almost like a cape, and as it lands on your back, it presses ever so slightly to your body. And again, there's that rush of moisture and wet, the sound of waves, and it is consuming as you slip one arm into the jacket. It's tight but flexible. It moves with you, and the compulsion to put the other arm through the other sleeve is immense, and you are flooded with these thoughts of swimming in around reef beds and through kelp forests. Salt water fills your nose, the smell of the sea, the roar of the ocean. You're lost in this brief eternity of carefree selflessness, and you
is
drift there for just a moment, and that's when you hear your dad's voice, like a rock coming through a stained glass window. And it's your father calling out your name. As he's coming up, you are jolted from this vision of this fantastic world around you, and you see your father coming up the attic stairs, this look of dread on his face. The attic dark and cramped. Spider webs fill the area. The light shines. The light from the lower floors of the house coming up through the hole in the attic floor like a reverse spotlight, illuminating your dad's face in such a way where you can see ages of sorrow.
what's wrong?
And he lets out an exasperated sigh. And you can kind of see almost these whiskers coming out from the side of his face.
I mean, he probably already had whiskers, just not that kind.
Yeah, these are very definitive whiskers, not scruff.
Whiskers.
And he hoists himself up onto the edge of the attic, sitting with his feet dangling over the edge. I knew I should have burned that when I had the chance. And
Burn
he
it?
looks defeated. Just couldn't do it, though.
What is this?
And he sighs. It's our family's greatest treasure. It's our family's greatest secret. And it's our family's greatest curse.
What?
It is a gateway to the world of magic and of dreams. It is, I'm sure you hear it. I'm sure you feel it now. The call of the ocean.
Well, yeah. But kinda? I don't know.
You listen long enough and you'll hear it out in the distance. Those waves. They'll follow you forever. You remember those stories I told you when you were just a child about the wee folk and the kings and queens of the sea, those who could change between man and seal, courts of gods and monsters. And
Yeah,
he
but
kind of
those were
rests.
just fairy tales, right?
He folds his hands and rests them like under his chin, placing his elbows on his knee. That's what we wanted you to believe. I wanted you to believe. They're just fairy tales of visions of things that happened in a land far, far away in a time long, long ago. But the land wasn't that far and the time wasn't that long.
What? Dad, you're not making any sense. What?
He shakes his head. We are descended from the kings and the queens of the sea. We are Selkies. We are the protectors of the shore, the guardians, and the punishers of the fishermen.
But you are a fisherman.
Always have been. Sometimes not in this body. When fishermen get greedy and the sea strikes back, it's not the sea. It's us. When
What? So we're some magical storm seal people? What?
That's about the best way you can put it. He just chuckles.
And kings and queens? Really?
Realist.
We can barely afford school.
I gave it all up to protect Mom, you.
So does Mom know about this? Is she a Selkie too?
No. She's as human as it gets. She spent some time enchanted, but it wasn't for her, and humans who are enchanted for too long tend to suffer severe psychological problems. They can't handle it. They become what's called dreamstruck, and they lose their sense of what's real and what's fantasy. And in this day and age, that gets dangerous.
What about Marina and Leith and Cordelia? Are they Selkies too, or?
They have the blood in them. They could be, if given a skin, or if they find one. They could awaken.
Wait, so is this why you never let them on the boat? Why you never let them up here?
That's why I honestly forgot about the jacket. It's been a long time. I wouldn't have sent you up here if I would have remembered.
Her eyebrows are just like furrowed. You can't tell if it's confusion or thought or like a combination of the two, although it probably is a combination of the two.
That coat, that jacket, it comes with a terrible price.
Do I have to sacrifice a goat or something?
If only it was that simple. But no, eventually you will get called to wander out into the sea, and it'll be consuming to the point where at some point you just have to go. But our family line, you are the first girls born in our line in 4 generations. 5 generations. It's been a long, long time. I was hiding that to protect you. But
From what? I mean, turning into a seal doesn't seem that bad, even if it comes with the whole you have to leave sometimes.
that's the start of it. But it gets worse. There's more to it than that. I mean, so back in the, how do I put this? Remember that story I told you about the king who promised off his child to that fisherman?
Yeah, because he withstood the 3 trials or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Remember what the fisherman asked for in return?
No, didn't he just ask for the wife?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't get what you're getting at. Are you telling me that's true too? That
Yeah,
some fisherman married a king's daughter and they lived happily ever after? What is...
it wasn't exactly happy, but most part. She couldn't bear children. And our line owes that fisherman's family children.
What?
And you start to get these kind of flashbacks and vivid images of this deal being made between a king and a fisherman, of a man and a wife, of oaths sworn on blood and honor.
Mm. Is this gonna be a recurring thing? This whole seeing shit? 'Cause I'm not
It'll
liking
go away eventually, maybe.
maybe.
But sometime here soon, you'll have to. A man of this fisherman's lineage will find you, whether he knows it or you know it. But when you see each other, you will have to marry him, lest our family lose all of its magic.
What? How is that fair? That
It's
make
not.
that makes no fucking sense.
And he just kind of shrugs. Fairy magic. It's how it works sometimes.
Fairy
Doesn't.
magic does just forces fucking marriages? What?
No. No, it upholds promises.
So what you're telling me is that a long, long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
someone arranged my marriage to
Not
before I was even
yours.
conceived?
Not yours specifically.
Oh, what? I just had the misfortune to.
Be the first daughter in a very long line of generations. We specifically did everything we could to have gotten her hands on us, to prevent getting her hands on a seal coat.
Wait, what happened to the other daughters? Like, you said there's been like 5 generations without daughters. Was that on purpose?
They never got their coats. They never had them. They were given to boys. They were. We did everything we could not end the line, or to circumvent the promise. But because we're fathers, and we want our children to be happy. We want them to make their own choices, to live their own lives. We want you to be free.
I don't think that's gonna happen now.
He shakes his head. It's not.
I mean, how many other Selkies are in our family? How many other magical things? I mean, I know we have family back in Orkney, but
Most
lots of them.
most of them. Most of the. But they're not part of the line. They're not part of the blood. A lot of them are aunts and uncles that have no relation. Your Aunt Susan has no familial ties to us, but she's a Selkie. She's family in that communal magic seal person kind of sense.
How many of them am I actually related to?
A handful. See, there's Uncle John and his boys. And you see he gets lost. Like it's hard to remember. Like he's trying to remember, but things are escaping.
What about Uncle Jamie?
Jamie.
Uncle Murtaugh?
Murtaugh, no. Jamie's my actual brother, yeah. Murtaugh, no. He's magic seal person.
How long do I have?
Year and a day.
It's not very long.
Nope. Year and a day to find him. Marry him. And that was, and you can tell he is trying really hard to remember. And that was the important part. There were no stipulations on how long before you had to give him kids.
Oh, well, that's nice. She just kind of like rubs her face in that way that you do when you're stressed out.
The other thing is that jacket is your lifeblood. It doesn't get destroyed very easy, and it repairs itself over time. But without it, you'll eventually just be a regular person. But with it, you can do all sorts of amazing things. Don't lose it. Don't let it get stolen. We are only truly come into our own and have all of this fantastical power when we wear our coats. When the coat gets passed on or if it gets destroyed, some of our memories will go with it. And while we may be Selkies, he kind of scratches his cheek, we'll never be able to see the fantastical world or do the wonderful things that we used to do. And once the coat's been passed on, it gets bonded to you. I can never wear it again and inherit my prowess, and if you give it to your sisters, then it goes to them, and you lose your place in line.
But they'll have to marry someone.
Yep.
That is the most sexist bullshit I've ever fucking heard. God damn.
And he just kind of shrugs. It was the 1700s. What do you expect?
Crap. I'm gonna need some time to process this.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. And there are more than magical seal people out there.
Oh, Jesus, why?
There's a whole new world of other magical creatures. And there will be some that you can see, and the other magical people can see. The Fae, changelings. That.
You mean those fairy baby things? My grandpa told me about?
Kind of. So a child will grow up acting one way, and then something will happen, and the glamour, the magic inside them raises to the surface. And then they go through probably something similar to what you did when you found that coat and you put it on. And then they change, and sometimes their personalities change. I wouldn't be surprised if yours did a little bit. Pick up mannerisms from me or grandpa or great-grandpa. Or it's when a changeling comes to their own, when the Fae soul awakens inside. Sometimes they change and can have, their Fae soul can be entirely different than the body they were. Than the person they were before the change. So sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's not the same. And then sometimes the change is so minor nobody ever notices.
I think I'm already feeling like you a little bit.
That's probably the weight of the curse of that gaze upon us, upon our line.
No. I just really need a stiff drink right now.
That jacket made it here. There's probably a bottle of scotch up here somewhere.
Oh, thank God. She's gonna go looking in the trunk again.
And there is a small flask, an old metal hip flask. It's bright and shiny, ornate, loaded with gold and silver filigree.
And she tips it back and drinks it.
It's possibly the most beautiful flask you've ever seen in your life, and this is a very peaty Scotch. It is not what people would necessarily define as pleasant. Some people really like it, but it almost reminds you of drinking a tire fire.
You know, she's probably choking and coughing a little bit at it. Even though I have pretty good stamina. Or whatever it's called. Yeah, stamina.
It's a very peaty and heavy Scotch. Very smoky. Gets the job done, though.
How do you drink this?
Oh, I don't like that particular style. That was Grandpa's. I couldn't stand it.
Grandpa has bad taste.
Yeah. He shrugs.
Okay. Any other surprises I might need to be informed about? Other than the whole, hey, you're a seal person and need to marry some random dude?
Dragons are real. Sea monsters are real. Don't promise things lightly. And watch your temper lest the storm, you summon up storms. It's happened a couple of times.
Okay, that's actually kind of cool. Sea monster.
Let's see. When you wear that jacket and you zip it up all the way and you get into the water, close your eyes, count to 3, and you will actually be a seal.
Just any old water?
Any water.
Huh. I'll be right back. She goes down the stairs, out of the attic, and to the bathroom, where she starts filling up the tub.
You get a weird look from one of your younger sisters. Where'd you get that jacket?
Ask Dad. And then she slams the door and locks it.
So you slam the door. You lock the door, and there's something satisfying about the way the lock clicks into place. You fill the tub, and it's, as you watch the water pour out of the faucet and start filling the basin, it sounds to you like a waterfall out in the deep forest. There's something magical about it. It is inviting and intense. It is clean, and you are eager. And the water and the tub fills up, and you're lost in this entrancing moment of excitement and joy.
She's gonna
And
put her head like all the way under the water, make sure that like every part of her is submerged before zipping up the
so
little zipper.
you hop into the tub, clothes and all, and you are fully under the water, and you zip up the jacket, and it zips smoothly and cleanly, almost as if it's ready and it's excited, and the zipper reaches the top, and it just fits so snugly around the neck. And you close your eyes. 1, 2, 3. And you don't feel different. You don't. Everything feels as it should. You would expect that, something would be different about this, and you would change, and your perceptions would be entirely different. And you open your eyes, and it is blindingly bright out, and the bathroom is just glaring. The colors bouncing off the wall. It hurts your eyes, and you sit up, and you realize that you can't sit up, and you start to panic. You're underwater. But you're able to hold your breath even in this panic state, and you reach up to the side of the basin, and you can't reach it, and you look down, and that's a flipper.
She's gonna kind of wiggle it. It's like, that's mine. Wave it in front of her face.
That's a flipper.
Smack the water with it.
Blat blat.
She just makes a noise. You can decide what noise she makes. Weird seal noise.
You let out. Your head comes up out of the water, and you make this excited sound, and it is somewhere between a bark and a honk, and it is definitively very seal. And there's a scream from outside the bathroom door of, "What the fuck was that?"
Oh shit, how do I turn back? It was like her first instinct, but then she remembers, oh wait, the door's locked. Can she look at her little seal butt?
Look at your seal butt.
Is it a seal butt?
It's a seal butt.
Do I have little fins for feet?
Yes, you do.
I'm gonna roll a willpower just to see if she doesn't make the stupid noise again.
All right. Give it to me at diff 7.
Okay. Hopefully I'm doing that right. 3 successes. Okay, so I don't have to do it again.
You don't have to, but
She doesn't make the full sound, but she makes like a very light sound, just or like one of those little burbles that seals do, I think. She's just gonna kind of lay down in the tub for a while, just making bubbles.
Purple, 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 bubble, bubble, bubble.
And like slapping her little pudgy seal body. She's gonna be in there for a while.
And some time passes. And as you dip your head under the water, you occasionally hear the roar of the ocean, the crash of waves. And you feel as if this is only a tub. It is tiny, it is small, and it can't contain you. There's so much more out there. So many things to do, so many places to swim to.
She's gonna flop out of the tub.
Mm-hmm.
Like full body, just heave ho. And now she's gonna bounce towards the door.
Thump, thump, thump.
She saw it once in a video, so she thought it looked fun. And it was.
And you seal hop towards the door. Plop, plop, plop. You seal hop towards the very locked door.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna need hands for this, aren't I? Fuck. She's gonna kind of like pat her body to see where the zipper is, how to take it off, how to.
As you kind of think about the process of humans and hands and reach for the zipper, your paw goes up to your neck and you find the zipper, and as you go through the motion of unzipping, you find yourself getting taller in a much less bright room, and there is a mess everywhere. Your mother is going to kill you.
Not if she doesn't see the mess. And so she's gonna drain the tub, get a shit ton of towels, and just try everything. And then she's gonna put the towels down the laundry chute and unlock the door for once, or finally.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I think she's completely forgotten the whole, hey, you're gonna be forced into a marriage thing, and she's just thinking about, I'm a seal. So she's got this huge grin on her face.
And you are super excited about this, about everything. The world is magical and fantastic, and as you go running towards the door, your mom calls out, "Brooke, where are you going? We're not done yet."
Dad said I could take the boat.
I don't care what Dad said. Get back here. We still have to finish our cleaning.
She's gonna weigh the pros and cons of staying and leaving. Gonna slump a bit, put the car keys and then the boat keys back on the little key hook. Have a very dejected sigh. Damn it.
And there's roll me your glamour. Difficulty 8.
Cool. Let's see what my glamour actually is. Okay. Difficulty 8.
Mm-hmm.
No successes.
Gain a temporary dot of banality, or a temporary point of banality.
Mm-hmm.
You've willingly given up an opportunity for an adventure. And when you do this, it is sad. It's almost painful.
Dad? She's gonna go looking for him.
And he's up there cleaning. Up there putting stuff away.
Dad?
Yeah.
What did it just hurt to come back inside and start cleaning?
What were you going to go do?
I was gonna take the boat.
We are creatures of adventure and magic, of wilderness and extreme. We are the embodiment of journeys and quests. We are the fairies of the fairy tales.
Okay, that doesn't explain why it hurt.
And when you give up a chance for magic and the doldrums, or give up a chance for magic and adventure, and you return to the doldrums of life, you deny a part of yourself, and you invoke kind of the death of the dream, banality, and it hurts. Some people it makes them sick, some people it wounds.
So a
But
little piece of me
eventually,
literally just died because I came inside. Is that what we're getting at?
for the most part,
Now every time I use that metaphor, it's gonna make so much more sense.
mm-hmm.
Huh. So like, can I go take the boat?
You can take the boat
Okay.
when we're done cleaning and mom is happy,
Okay.
because we don't want mom angry.
No. I remember the last time mom was angry.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Sometimes think of it as sacrifice and as a means of preservation.
Okay.
But you have an adventure and a whole new world out there now. And you will find others like yourself. Who knows, there could even be more of us around here, more Selkies. And if you find them, meet them, spend time with them, make friends with them, because they are your extended family. You are at some point an umpteenth cousin to most of them. Some will show
God,
you community, some won't. But
the next family reunion is gonna be so weird.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
I'll go get some bags.
Yeah. We will end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching.